Welcome to the Accessibility Smackdown Series, Episode 2. In this video, we're going to cover several different questions that were received from my YouTube channel. Welcome to the Accessibility Guy channel. My name is Sean Jordison, and let's jump into the ring. Alright, let's start off with question number 1. What is the purpose of setting the title in the document properties? From what I know, it's usually the same as the document title. From what I've understood in other videos, adding a title in the document properties helps screen readers identify the document without opening it. However, I'm not clear on how this works in practice. When I tested it, I found that the file is closed. The screen reader only reads the file name from the outside. So what is the actual benefit of setting the title in the document properties? I think that question is amazing. So it is true, if a file is closed on your computer, the screen reader will simply announce the file name. Where the real benefit comes into effect is when you have multiple files open. Now I'm going to open up my Adobe Acrobat here, and we have two files. I have file 1 and I have file 2. They're actually the same exact file, but what I'm going to do next is let's launch JAWS, and we're going to determine what happens when we switch these files back and forth. So as I switch from file 1 to file 2, the screen reader should announce that change.
File 2-Adobe File 1-Adobe Acrobat Pro left parent 6 how.
And it does. So as I move from tab to tab from within Adobe Acrobat, the document title is being read aloud as opposed to the file name, which gives the user with the screen reader more control over what windows they're actually viewing. Question number 2 is, how do I extract pages in the updated Adobe Acrobat Pro and add text? The first thing I'm going to do is go over to Organize Pages. This is in the All Tools menu on the far left side of the menu. And from here, we're going to select the page that we want to extract. So if I want to take out page 2, I'm going to select it from this thumbnail window. We're going to then select the Page Options Extract Pages, and I want to select Delete Page after extracting. So that's going to take this page 2 out of my file of 2 pages and simply create one document. We now have this page extracted, so each one of my documents now only contains one page. And if I want to edit the text in this page, I can simply select the edit button, and then you could come into the text and actually update it and change it at this point. So if we wanted to update the text in here and just put in whatever text we wanted, you could also move the box around. That is how you would do that. Now, here is the tricky part. Whenever you are editing text inside of a PDF, it will often strip the accessibility out of at least the section that you are working in, and possibly the entirety of the document. So after you change your text, you want to make sure that you go through and then actually make it accessible. All right, the next question, how can associated subcells be set without using the reading order tool? I have a foreign language table that is not at all translating properly when recognized by the table editor. Therefore, I had to assign colspan, rollspan, and scope using the edit attribute options under object properties. The table is tagged using the proper table syntax and views correctly via callus. This is a very complex question, and the person that asked it actually already found the solution, and I'm going to share the solution that they found because I think it's useful to show. And so what we need to do is go into the table header cell. We're going to right click and select properties, and then select edit tag. And under tag element, we're going to open up the /A dictionary. And if this was not set up correctly, it would be /O and then table, and then layout. And the correct way to set it would be to set the table attribute. So we would do change item, and where it would say layout, we would then change it to table for each one of our header cells. Additionally, I already have the scope set to column. This ensures that the table is set up accessibly. This is a very complex fix. However, sometimes it's necessary, especially if you're working in foreign language documents. That concludes today's episode of the Accessibility Smackdown series. If you want to join my exclusive community that has multiple self-paced courses and direct access to yours truly, check out the link in the description of this video. And as always, I could be your champion for inclusion. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.